Welcome back to another reaction video where, man, I don't even know what to say about this guy. The person we're going to be reacting today goes by something like Divine Being Divine. I randomly stumbled across this dude on online on TikTok, and I've never heard somebody speak so fluently and use so many words, big words, and have no clue what they're talking about. I would call this person a fraud, but I genuinely believe that they believe all of the bullshit that they're saying. Here's a taste of what that looks like.
Thoughts on Anunnaki? I don't share my thoughts, but I'll tell you what Anunnaki is. It's you. You're a
Okay, so sorry to pause right away, but that was insanely arrogant what he said. I don't have thoughts, but I'll tell you what I know. So anyways, apparently we are the Anunnaki.
being, because you're being, which is consciousness, and you're human, which is manifestation of light, color. Hue, man. Hue is color. You're a colorful color, which is light, has manifested into a man. So you're hard light with a consciousness. So you are light, low frequency light, which is matter, because high frequency matter is light and low frequency light is matter.
That I don't know how this person is doing that. It's so stupid. It's very creative and it's impressive in a way that he can take a word from this sentence and then figure out how to connect that to something which sort of contains the word, or we can make some sort of equivalence, but it just doesn't mean anything. Low frequency light is matter and high frequency matter is light, or I don't even remember. It's so bad. Human, hue, man. We are light. Yeah, so human means that we are a color of light, and it's just, I'm gonna be doing this a lot.
Matter solidifies when light solidifies.
Oh yeah, he's a flat earther too, go figure.
It becomes matter down here. And when matter raises its frequency, it becomes light.
No, that's not how that works. You can't solidify light. Nope.
So light goes down and matter goes up. Spirit and matter, matter and spirit, light and matter, metals and light, light and metals. That's why the 7 metals are the 7 planets.
What does this have to do with the Anunnaki?
Sunday's the sun, which is gold. Monday's the moon, which is silver. Tuesday's Mars, which is iron. Wednesday's Mercury, the planet.
What does that mean?
Mercury, the metal. Thursday's Jupiter.
What does that mean? What does any of this mean?
Tin. Venus is copper. Saturday is Saturn, which is lead.
What does Saturn is lead mean, buddy?
Use your face to explain. Yes, I do. I don't ever have to work at a regular job ever again. I'm an author.
Yeah, so this is just tragic. The guy wrote this book, and it's actually very creative and colorful and interesting. It's all handwritten and all hand illustrated. None of it was typed or anything. And he's made a disgusting amount of money on it. I'm not telling you what the book is called or where you can find it because I won't contribute. So I could probably take a gazillion of the guy's videos and just react to them individually. And maybe I'll do that if this turns out to be like kind of popular and kind of fun. But I ran across him just doing a live stream. So I just recorded this on my desktop for about 30 minutes. Now I'm pretty much blind reacting to this because I just let it record on my desktop and it was recording the desktop audio, so I couldn't actually hear anything. Every once in a while, I checked in on my phone to make sure he was still live, so you may see me pop up in the chat over here, but I've really barely heard any of this. So let's see. I feel like in order to properly react to this, I'm either going to need like a medical doctor or a physicist or both of them here, because it's going to be really hard to pinpoint exactly why what he's saying is BS, but I'm going to do the best I can.
Can you tell us about the shift that's happening? Yeah, it's a polarity shift. So people are becoming polarized in their minds. Once you go...
No. Assuming the polarity shift meant the shift in Earth's magnetic north and south pole, assuming that was the question, yeah, that obviously has nothing to do with the political polarization that is happening, and it's pretty extreme. Those two things are happening at the same time. But no, pole shifts, we don't really know how long they take, because the evidence we have says the poles can maintain their whatever positions for hundreds of thousands of years, but sometimes they switch after just a couple of thousand years.
Through the shift or the split happens within yourself, then it happens throughout the household. Once the shift happens in the house, then it happens in the neighborhood, and then the city, and then the world. So what you're gonna notice is, I have
Does this count as like new age something or other? I don't know.
to make a decision. Am I gonna be vegan and eat vegetables and fruits forever, or am I gonna keep eating meat? I became polarized and I said, I'm going left. I'm not gonna keep doing what my family and everybody else does. I'm gonna make my own path and I'm gonna be vegan.
Okay, whatever. That's not what a pole shift is. Something really interesting about this guy is he seems to have views that are all over the place, which is actually nice, which is a good thing. I hate the idea that you can predict with such great accuracy what somebody's like political opinions are and other beliefs just based off of how they feel about one thing. All of the flat earthers I've ever talked to are they kind of all hate the government, but they definitely have like right wing and conservative types of biases and opinions. This goes back to Jonathan Haidt's research, right? So they favor like purity and tradition and those types of things, and they tend to be highly religious as well. Now, this guy's a flat earther, but from the very little I've seen, he really doesn't like the Bible. And then yeah, he's vegan or whatever. Now, I don't know. I think that when it comes to like woo and crystals and weird energies like that, I think people that identify as like spiritual, which is kind of like the religious version of what people to the hard left identify as, they sort of fall for that kind of bullshit. But then right wing evangelical people tend to be on the bandwagon of like certain other types of like alternative medicine and essential oils. If any of you know who Cosmic Skeptic is, his origin story with regard to like fundamentalist Christianity and essential oils is actually a pretty fascinating story. You should check it out. So, who is this guy's audience other than people that don't know anything? I don't know.
My whole reality was flipped upside down and I changed my whole life. So, once you make a decision in your mind and you choose this side or that side, now your whole house is split. So now half the family's doing this, half the family's doing that, or maybe some people are doing this, some people are doing that. Once you make a
I don't know if you guys can see it, but this comment right here says bloodline ends here. That's
choice, the house makes a choice. Now the whole city makes a choice. It's not a pole shift that the earth is gonna flip poles. That's ridiculous. You're gonna flip your mentality. Everybody wants to make everything.
yeah, so no, that isn't ridiculous. I mean, we know that those pole shifts happen. You can see it in the alignment of the mineral like magnetic crystals inside of, especially on the ocean floor. This is great. Somebody asks, what about the pole shifts? Which I could only have meant like the actual shifting of the poles. No. That's not even the thing. It's a shift in all of us. He's so arrogant that he says, oh, well, your question was actually about this. No, it wasn't.
In school, in elementary, we were told that Saturn and Jupiter are gas giants. They're not physical balls. They're gas clouds. They're
No, yeah, a gas is a form of matter. They are physical things.
giant clouds.
I can't stand the way flat earthers do this. They literally acknowledge that other planets exist and that we know things about them, which uh, the only reason we have this detailed information about those planets is because we've gone to them, but they reject the idea that space exists and that we can even go there. It's so dumb. They formulate their arguments about things by taking in information from sources that they believe can't be credible.
That's what the planets are. They're just gaseous. The only hard, the only rock solid part of Saturn is the flat rings. Saturn is a big cloud and its rings are flat. It's solid rings. So if you were going to land on
Oh no, they are not solid rings. They're I mean they look like it from a distance, but up close, no, they're made of like billions or trillions of little particles. And they are super flat. Like the rings they're like 250,000 miles across or kilometers across, I believe. but I think they're only about 10 meters thick, which is pretty phenomenal.
Saturn, you cannot land on a cloud. You can only land on the asteroids which make up the rings of Saturn.
I don't know how big it's thought that the biggest particle in Saturn's rings is, but I really don't think it's very large at all. Although it does have some moons that are technically inside and between the rings.
So the Earth has an electromagnetic field. It's like the cloud of Saturn, the big ball. It's a cloud. The Earth
See, we just switched to something so completely different, and that has nothing to do with Saturn.
has a magnetic field that's
How does he do that?
visible, and we live on the rings of Saturn. But imagine if all the asteroids were glued together. Now there's just a big asteroid disk in the middle of Saturn's cloud. That's what we're on. We're on the disk. It's like all the asteroid rocks were fused together and made a floor. Now you're on the rings of Saturn, and the
Oh yeah, there's me. I've never seen somebody who thinks they know so much but knows absolutely nothing. So yeah, there were small parts of this I saw.
top and bottom of Saturn is just the dome or the firmament or the electromagnetic field above and below the plane of inertia, which is
The dome is the electromagnetic field. That's it. See, the thing about flat earthers is they don't believe in anything consistent. Like I would love to watch flat earthers argue about what the firmament is or whatever.
just the halfway point. And this is not my imagination. I did this earlier on my
Yes,
live
it
stream.
is.
I had like 1,000 people watching, and I basically showed how magnetism works. I said, this is, Saturn. You don't just have energy coming out of the top and bottom. What you actually have is energy getting sucked into the center, which is the midway point, which is the plane of inertia, or the accretion disk, or even called the block wall.
Oh my freaking god. I need to like write down what he says or something. It's so hard to keep track of. So, no, energy does not get sucked in toward the middle. The middle, like where the magnetic field lines would converge to the poles, that is absolutely not the plane of inertia. I already forgot what else he said, so.
So, you have a magnet at the top and bottom. That's the north and south pole of Saturn.
That's not how magnetic fields work. From what I understand, the gas giants, their magnetic field is generated by the liquid metallic hydrogen.
Now you have the flat rings. It all has to do with magnetism. So look,
The rings don't have anything to do with magnetism.
those are the flat rings of Saturn going around the plane of inertia. It's very simple. You're just talking.
I don't, again, I need a physicist here to be like, the plane of inertia? I don't know if you'll be able to read this. I don't know how well the resolution comes through, but yeah, I asked ChatGPT-4 and it says there's no such thing as a plane of inertia. My guess is he's saying because it rotates, there is sort of that, like the plane that intersects its rotation, but that's not a plane of inertia. And again, nor is magnetism the force that makes Saturn have rings, nor does this have anything to do with Earth's magnetic field or a firmament or the shape of the Earth or anything.
Oh, no, you're just typing when you should be writing down what I'm saying. You're not listening. You're just typing. Shh. Stop typing. Take notes. So look. Magnets can do this because there's something called the plane of inertia, which is the flat disk within every magnetic field. You
No.
can't have a north and south pole unless it is separated by a plane of inertia. So check this out.
No, there's no plane of inertia with a magnetic field. I would love to have a conversation with this guy and ask him to tell me what he means by everything. Funny enough, monopole magnets, apparently the physics tells us they can exist, but for whatever reason, they just don't exist in our universe.
I can do
However, you can make a magnet that has two north poles and only one south pole. So how would that work?
this, and that's why Saturn has flat rings.
No.
Because the plane of inertia.
I love how he can't like handle his
Saturn is just a
magnets
big
and they
giant
keep
magnet. Everything is just magnetism. There's no
Nope.
such thing as Gravity.
Oh, jeez.
I had to do it that way because TikTok's gonna remove me for spreading misinformation.
Yes, you're a victim.
Gravity's totally real. It's totally real. It exists.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, there's gravity exists, okay. Yeah, it does. Just drop something and watch how it falls. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's not really a great argument for the existence of gravity, but the point is nothing else can describe why things fall the way they do.
So let's drop something and watch how it. You said drop it and watch it fall. Let's prove gravity.
Well, the water's falling.
If I drop something, it should fall, right? Let's try it. Let's see.
Is he gonna have something float in the water?
Let's see your theory. Drop it and watch it fall. I'm gonna let go of it.
Okay. So it floats because yes, there can be a buoyant force, but again, none of this is described by magnetism
Oh, wait, why didn't it fall? Let's try it again.
because it's less buoyant.
I thought you said drop it and watch it fall.
Oh, Jesus.
So why didn't it fall? Why is it in the air? Or why is it not touching the bottom of the bowl? Because gravity doesn't exist.
Oh yeah, there I am again. This proves magnets in what way? I don't remember this part. This is a couple weeks ago.
You know why? Because if gravity existed, I should be able to. This should fall.
It will drop
It
it.
should fall, right? Let's prove it.
Oh god, yeah. He goes and he throws it in.
Let's
his
let
pool.
go of it and watch it fall down, but it does the opposite. When I let go of the bottle, which way is it gonna go? Let go of it and watch it fall down. Why did it go up? You
Because
said
of
let go of the
buoyancy.
object and watch it fall. I let it go and that motherfucker came up. 'Cause
Nobody.
there is no gravity. That's right. I had to freeze my hand to
In what way does that prove
prove
magnetism?
to you.
Well, I don't reject magnetism, but how is magnetism playing a role in any of that?
That if you let go of an object, it doesn't go down, it goes up.
Jeez.
That's called floating. Yeah, that's called density mediation. Every object has a density and has to mediate itself. So the reason a plastic bottle falls down in the oxygen is because the bottle weighs more than the oxygen.
It doesn't weigh more, it's more dense.
But if you have a bottle and it's in a pool, the bottle weighs less than the pool.
It's less dense than the water.
Or the bottle is less dense because there's oxygen inside the bottle. The oxygen will be less dense than the hydrogen in the oxygen below it. So gravity is not necessary. It's just knowing the densities of the objects. If something is less dense, it goes up. If it's more dense, it goes down.
It's so, yeah, again, it's also less dense, like, God. It's less dense than the pool in all directions. So why doesn't it go to the left or to the right? Like, if it's just in water, why does it go up? There's no explanation for that. Again, if you... I keep pausing this guy in such horrible freeze frames. But, hilariously, density is a property, not a force, so it can't describe why anything happens. Now, there's a buoyant force, right? But the buoyant force, like the calculation for it, literally includes the acceleration of gravity. Now, you don't necessarily need gravity, you just need any kind of acceleration. So, like on the International Space Station, where they're not experiencing like they're accelerating, but it's all canceled out, so they're effectively, weightless. If you took a centrifuge on there, well, that would be like your artificial gravity. That's your acceleration. And it works with centrifuges here on Earth, too. But yeah, when you put stuff in a centrifuge, it separates according to density horizontally. Why is that? Because that outward acceleration, I never remember if it's centrifugal or centripetal force or whatever, but that's much stronger and it's perpendicular to the force of gravity, so that's how the material sorts. Again, I say all that to tell you that nothing that he could possibly tell you about magnets or magnetism is going to describe why things move the way they do, whether they sink or whether they
no
float.
such thing as a force that's pulling you down. There's just a weight to the object. It's all with
Weight is a force.
weight and density. The density gives you the weight.
No.
Thank you. There's no such thing as gravity. There's just magnetic attraction and magnetic repulsion and pressure mediation and mediation of the
Then why won't water stick to that magnet? Why won't that plastic bottle stick to that magnet?
densities. That's
Why won't that magnet stick to the ground?
you're welcome.
Is the air more dense around the magnet? No.
You're all welcome.
Oh, God.
Thank you, Nikola Tesla,
the
who
arrogance.
called Einstein a
Nikola
beggar in purple clothing that people take for a king. Albert Einstein is a beggar in purple clothing that the fools take for a king.
Dude literally thinks that Saturn is real, but then just doesn't believe in Albert Einstein. Like, what the fuck do you do with a person like this? I don't get why they all worship Nikola Tesla so much. Why does he have a ceiling fan in his
Einstein is a
garage?
beggar wrapped in purple clothing. What does this information do? Well, it made me $100,000 because I compiled the information into 2 books. But like I said,
So it doesn't prove anything. I like how he just called Einstein a beggar, and now he's just constantly being like, buy my book.
go get my book if you want to learn about magnetism so I can make more money and you can get more smarter.
More smarter.
Hey, my pockets get bigger, your brain gets bigger just by buying my book, making one little purchase, and you helped me and yourself.
That's the irony here is just so palpable.
Isn't that awesome the way it works? I can get more tattoos and you can have more intelligence in your brain. More smarter is crazy, I know, right? There's what a magnet is doing. That's magnetism. We live on the plane, the disk between the magnetic field north and south pole. Everyone knows Earth has a
No, this is not how a magnetic field is shaped. If that were the case, then there would be a south. Well, okay, so he's assuming that Earth is flat, but I mean this just doesn't work. You can take iron filings and put them around any magnet, and you can see you don't get 2 of them like that unless you take 2 magnets and stick them together. But then that would actually be north and south poles that are touching. This is something that I've never seen anybody talk about or do with a flat earther. T-Jump and Witsit kind of got into it. They talked about magnetic fields in a modern day debate that they did. And they stuck on that topic for like 45 minutes because T-Jump would not let Witsit change the subject. But anyways, magnetic fields always go like that. Now, idiots like Dipshit or Nitwit or Witsit will say that like we live within a toroidal plane or something like that. He invokes the torus shape. The problem with that is that would make the magnetic south pole underneath the flat earth, and it's not. We know where the magnetic south pole is. And the great thing about it is it's not at the geographic south pole. So you can't do your little conspiracy about how it's beyond the ice wall. It's in the ocean. That's not possible if the earth is flat. In order for that to be the case, then the magnetic field lines would have to, like, the whole geometry of it would have to be sideways. This is kind of hard to like describe without like doing a drawing or whatever. But if Earth is a ball, then those magnetic field lines wrap around quite nicely around it because the shapes are very similar. The ball fits within that shape. But on a flat Earth, this couldn't work because you'd have the magnetic north pole here, the magnetic south pole here, but then the rest of Earth around it. So over here, there just wouldn't be any magnetic field because those magnetic field lines would be going this way. So there's nothing over here.
and south pole. There's the plane of inertia. That's what we live on. There's Mount Meru at the center. That's the mountain that all compasses point to. A compass is just a magnet.
Mount Meru, all compasses point to Mount Meru? Huh. I've legitimately never heard of this before. Mount Meru, a magnetic, magical mountain under the North Pole. This comes from Hindu and Buddhist mythology. Yeah, the other thing about this guy and people like him is they really hybridize like basically every religious idea that there ever has been. Because, you know, they tend to think ancient people like knew more than we do today or had access to like some privileged information. I wonder if he believes in aliens. That would be interesting. I mean, you'd think he can't, because if he thinks the Earth is flat and there's a dome and a firmament, then, you know, whatever, but...
How do magnets work? Ether. Magnetic repulsion is radiation, which is right turning, which goes out. This is magnetism. It's the creation of space.
So this is where the, like, pseudoscientific gobbledygook comes in.
Electricity is the eraser of space. So you have magnetic repulsion and magnetic attraction. So what's happening is the atom is this. So when you line up all
No.
the atoms inside of an object, it becomes a magnet. I can even make my spoon
No. No. Atoms are not magnets just because they have protons and electrons.
become.
And once again, we have somebody who believes in things that can't even be seen. To me, believing in atoms is far more fantastical than thinking that space, like the universe, is this thing with planets and other stars, and it's like it's extremely vast. I actually, we can see that stuff, but then so I think it takes less abstraction to believe in atoms, but here he is throwing in with that and denying that space exists.
Magnet. If I have my spoons and I stick my magnet to the spoon, if I leave my magnet on the spoon becomes a magnet and I can pick up other spoons with it. So how did I magnetize my spoon? Just by influencing the atoms of the spoon with this magnet, because these atoms are lined up, I can line up the atoms in my spoon.
That's sort of true. It's not really, from what I understand, it's not exactly the atoms. There are these like really tiny like crystal units within the metal, and you can get them to align. It's probably happening fundamentally at an atomic level. It's been a while since I looked over this stuff, so
My spoon's atoms are lined up. When you line up the atoms in your body or line up your chakras, what happens is you become a magnet and you create the spiral at the top of your head.
I have no idea what chakras are supposed to be, and I don't care. I'm not looking it up.
You become a magnet when you
No.
line up your chakras. It's like lining up the atoms, and you can sit on the earth, and now you and the earth become one magnet. It's
Are we literally magnets? Because then magnets would stick to us and we would stick to the earth. Or are these just words?
all about magnetism. A lot of people have no clue, no idea.
Especially you.
They say blah blah blah. You're just talking. You're just making noise with your mouth.
Yes, you are.
Little do they know. Literally, they know list. They know so little
Oh, the arrogance.
that it's all
I
real.
just want
It's
to punch
the
him.
Indian chakra system. The Indians knew it. Even in America, the indigenous of America, not just the people in India, near Asia, India. I'm talking about Native American Indians. They just call them Native Americans. They're called Native Americans. They have the dream catcher.
Uh, right. So no, what they're really called are like the Sioux and the Lakota, the Triple Alliance and the Pawnee and the Apache. So I don't know who they is. They certainly don't call themselves Native Americans because if you ask them, they didn't live in America. They had their own like nations. They lived on this continent, but yeah, no, not according to them. Like I'm not trying to be anti-colonialist or anything like that. I'm just saying he's trying to sound smart and he's saying things that aren't.
Which looks like this. It's a dream catcher. You put it on your wall. The dream catcher is the electromagnetic field. Why is it a dream
No,
catcher?
it's,
It's supposed
no,
to
it's
attract
not.
the dreams. It's magnetic attraction. You're pulling in the dreams and you're repelling away the nightmares. It's magnetism, a dream catcher.
Oh man.
It's pushing the negative energy away, and it's attracting the positive energy, which is dreams. No nightmares.
no, that's not
Dreams are
magnets.
welcome. That's all it is. It's magnetism.
Oh geez.
The dream catcher. See, even in Norse mythology, this was Odin, and that's the tree of life. Well, that's what this is.
Yeah, it's like he believes in every religion, but not like literally.
That's what this is.
No. No, it isn't. Oh man. Okay.
Simple. Flower of life. Yeah, that's the flower of life and the lotus of life.
Is it the tree of life, or is it the flower of life, or is it the lotus of life?
I love your hair. Thank you. But some people live in a nightmare. Dude has an interesting argument. Yeah, it's not an argument. I just surface the information that I've encountered. I surface facts, knowledge, and wisdom. I don't share my opinions, thoughts, or beliefs. I think this. I believe in this. My opinion is this. No, these are not my opinions, thoughts, or beliefs. These are facts. This is the
That I already said it, but I want to punch him so fucking bad just for that statement.
crown chakra, Sahasrara crown chakra in India. Because when you raise your frequency, that's why this has 4 petals, 6 petals, 10 petals, 12 petals, 16 petals, 2 petals, and 1,000 petals.
Who taught this guy how to count? 4, 4, 8, 16, whatever it was, and then 2. We're going to increase from 16 to 2 and then to 1,000. Oh, this has been painful, but that made the whole thing worth it.
Your energy is doubling and doubling and tripling and quadrupling until you reach 1,000 petals. And
What 2 is the double of 1? What?
you raise your frequency, which means you're raising the cerebral spinal fluid caduceus up to your pineal gland. The snake grows wings and you become a dragon. Oh. Welcome. Simple.
Oh my God.
Why did it go back to 2? Because 2 is your third eye, which is double.
Oh, okay. I'm going to rewind a little bit because somebody pointed that out. Okay.
Wings and you become
Here's the
a
explanation.
dragon. You're welcome. Simple. Why did it go back to 2? Because 2 is your third eye, which is double the energy of all the bottom 5. This is the 6th chakra. This is
I'm trying to think of something interesting to say, but I can't. So it's 2 because it doubled. None of this means anything.
48 petals.
Which is why you can attach a bunch of words to make it mean whatever you want. Weirdly, the less it means, the more you can make it sound like it means something.
This is 2 times 48, which is 96. This is 96 because it's multiply all of these times 2. 4, 6.
But the next step was 1,000.
10, 12, 16, double of 48, because 4 plus 6 plus 10 plus 12 plus 16 is 48. This is 96. When you add 96 plus 48, it's 144. When you multiply 144 times 1,000, the 1,000 petal lotus, you get 144,000, like the Bible says. When Jesus returns, he's going to save 12,000 people from each of the 12 tribes. 12 times 12,000 is 144,000. It's not literal.
I've heard it's not literal. What? So I've heard that before. I think this is what Jehovah's Witnesses believe. They believe that there will only be 144,000 people that will be chosen or whatever. I don't remember what the academic consensus about what that's supposed to mean is. People in the comments, if you know about this, feel free to give us some information. But yeah, so we have I don't know what chakras come from, some Eastern religion, I'm sure, but that goes with the Bible too. Like I said, he believes and doesn't believe in all religions.
Jesus is not going to come and save 144,000 people out of 9 billion people. It means the people who are saved are the ones who bring their energy up to the crown chakra, which is 144,000. 144,000 will be saved, which means in order to save yourself, you must raise your frequency. It doesn't.
So he won't save 144,000 people, but 144,000 people will be saved.
Mean Jesus is going to pick 144,000 of you. That's ridiculous. This goes back to India way before the time of Jesus. So even in India, they said 144,000 goes to heaven. It's simple.
No.
4 plus 6 plus 10 plus 12 plus 16 is 48. 48 times 2 is 96.
Yeah, we heard.
Now, the crown chakra is all of them together and multiply it times 1,000. 96 plus 48 times 1,000 is 144,000. Raise your frequency, y'all. From root to heart to crown. Jesus is the heart chakra. And he said, you can't get to the Father except through me. You can't go to the crown, which is God, unless you go through your heart. If you have negativity in your...
At what point was the crown supposed to be God? I thought we were just supposed to elevate ourselves to that point.
Body, in your... If you feel hatred or anger or fear or sadness or desire...
Well, I feel pretty angry.
Come up to your heart chakra. You have to love and accept reality for what it is. I hate that guy because he has the girl that I want. I hate him because he has a Lamborghini and I don't. I hate this guy because he looks cool and he has tattoos and he's awesome and I'm not. I hate watching this TikTok.
That's not why I hate you. You know what? If this were like an after-school special, if we just clipped that part of it, that's a positive message. But it's got a veneer of bullshit to it.
Because this guy
and insane arrogance.
He's much smarter than me and he knows about magnets and I don't. If you have
you don't know about magnets,
then you're not. How can you come up here if you can't even come to here? You can't just skip from the root to the crown. You have to have love. You have to love me and say, I love this tattooed freak with piercings on his face because he doesn't know any better. I love him for he knows not what he does. It's not his fault he thought he
Talking
he
about
thought he was
Jesus
cool.
again.
It's not his fault he wasted
Well, it's more forgive them for they not know what they do.
all his money on tattoos. That's it. You just have to love me, brother. So when you do that, you can go up to your crown.
Can you imagine being his tattoo artist? He probably gave him this spiel the whole time, and maybe I don't know what tattoo artists are like. I've only ever known a couple of them. Well, I've only ever been friends with one, and he was very down to earth. He was a pretty smart dude. But he would, like, him listening to this, he would either just be like, "Huh, that's interesting," or just be like totally dead silent. He would not entertain any of this. But yeah, that would suck.
Chakra.
Or like, what if this guy had to go to the dentist or go to a doctor? Like, I don't know if this is a person that rejects like modern medicine or whatever. But at some point, no matter what you believe in, you're gonna seek that out. And I just wonder what it'd be like for like, he's getting tested and he says to them, "Do you have anything that can actually sense my magnetic toral plane of inertia to see which chakra is being illuminated?" And he would probably say, "Oh yeah, that's what an MRI machine does because it's magnets. That's the M in MRI, don't you know?"
I love all of you, even if you guys are globies and you think the Earth's a ball. You don't know any better. It's okay.
Oh, that arrogance.
You'll get there.
I've said that so many times.
You're so prideful. Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. I appreciate. Hey, look, it's not your fault you still think you're on a basketball.
Is this a garage? This is what he was in this room earlier. I can't tell. That looks like a garage door opener thing up there. But there's a ceiling fan.
It's okay. You'll learn. You'll realize one of these days.
Yeah, that is a garage. Do you guys have ceiling fans in your garages?
So check this out. If the Earth is a ball, that means there's limited resources. Oh, there's only 7 continents. There's only 7 oceans. Okay.
I mean, yes, but no. Like, having a finite amount of things doesn't mean that we would ever use all of them up. Like, what are we in danger of running out of? We are running out of helium. That's true, but I think the world will be fine if we don't. Groundwater is a potential, like, disaster, but I don't know. I feel like we'll probably just invent a way to make fresh water out of seawater at some point. But I did listen to a really good podcast. I can't remember what podcast it was, where they talked about this, like places where they have desalination plants, but you have to pump all it makes brine when you do that. You get this highly, highly concentrated salt water after the process is done. And the only place really to put that is back in the ocean, but it sinks and it actually causes some pretty serious environmental problems, which could collapse adjacent economies. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, we'll figure something out, I hope, but
The Earth is not a ball and it's an infinite plane. That means that you don't have to pay for anything because nothing is rare. You're not going to run out of space. You're not going to run out of land. See, you think...
But I thought we weren't allowed to go past the ice wall.
It's not just... That's just the Earth in the middle. You also have past the ice wall, which we're not allowed to go to. When you go past the ice wall, which is the highest elevation on Earth, because all of these continents have beaches. You can go to the Florida beach. You can go to the South America beach. You can go to the African beach. There's beaches all over the world because that's where the land meets the ocean. It's called the beach. But there is no beach at the Antarctic wall. It's just an ice wall, the ice shelf floating above the ocean. So that's the highest elevation. We are inside of the ice wall. And when you go past it, there's another ice wall and another ice wall. It's like a Russian nesting doll. So you're saying what?
But doesn't this firmament, doesn't the dome have dimensions? It doesn't go on forever. We don't have limited resources if your idea is true.
Makes a difference. Well, if this is true, that's why all of the nations don't let us go to the ice wall, because they're protecting it to make you think that. But that's why they're rich. The richest people of the world are telling you that this is all there is, so you have to pay for it. You have to pay for apples and water and watermelons and stuff. But if
He's a communist.
they told you this, why am I paying for everything when there's unlimited resources, unlimited land? We can all be kings and queens on this earth. Nobody has to pay for anything. Nobody has to pay taxes, and I don't have to go to work.
Hell yeah.
The only work you should
What?
do, the only thing you should do for a living is live your life and grow fruits and vegetables at your own farm in your own garden. Basic.
This guy has a very nice house. He's a capitalist pig who thinks we should live not exactly like wild animals, but without any modern amenities or whatever. I mean, just such a blatant hypocrite. I just this stuff drives me crazy.
Make your own area be the vacation spot that you want. You don't have to go vacation. I want to go to Hawaii because it's so warm and tropical. Just make the area you live already like Hawaii. Look I'm already in Hawaii right now. This is just my backyard.
He's a material whore that thinks we shouldn't be. He thinks people that are trying to extract wealth from you are evil people with agendas trying to hide the truth. And then here he is just I don't get it.
I'm a Hawaii boy.
Oh God.
And
okay, no, I can't do anymore. There's about 10 minutes left of this video, but I've been recording for nearly an hour at this point. So we'll like I said, depending on the reception this gets, we'll do more of this. I'm gonna have to find some more Kent Hovind videos and maybe Ken Ham too to react to, just to mix it up. I don't want to be always talking about flat Earth. So I don't know. We'll leave it there and then we'll check out more next time. Thanks everybody.